You've been accused of being a war criminal. That if you went to go to several countries in Europe, you're going to get arrested. The political power comes from public opinion, and you know that you need to win the battle of public opinion.
The argument that you put forward is being put forward. It doesn't make it true. What is true is that Israel is fighting these.
It finally happened. A journalist challenged Benjamin Netanyahu directly in a tense live interview, and the conversation quickly took an unexpected turn. Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Let's watch the clip first, then we'll break down what happened and why it's getting so much attention.
Prime Minister, that is one way of viewing the world, and I have some sympathy with some of what you've said. Let me give you another way, which is that many people around the world see the state of Israel as a country that is exclusively using military force, that has killed 70,000 people in Gaza, that is doing nothing to create a sustainable future for people there, that is a country, you've been accused of being a war criminal. That if you went to go to several countries in Europe, you're going to get arrested. This is not just mad campus radicalism. This is a feeling around the world. You said it yourself to us just now. In public opinion around the world, Israel is doing very poorly. And it's doing very poorly because people see a country that is behaving in a way that is not compatible with being a liberal democracy. And therefore, I think you have a problem. I think that loss of public opinion, what struck me from your autobiography was how subtly and for how long you have understood this. You know that political power comes from public opinion, and you know that you need to win the battle of public opinion, and you're losing it. You've absolutely lost it in Europe, but much more worryingly for you, you're losing it in America. And I think that what you've just told me about fanaticism is true in part, but it is not going to shape public opinion. People are going to roll their eyes and say, he's saying that anybody who says anything critical about Israel is anti-Semitic. He's giving this large, this story about fanaticism, and he's not accepting the fact that Israel is behaving in a way that we think is incompatible with the kind of liberal democracy that he claims to be.
The commentator argues that Israel is increasingly losing global public support, especially in the United States. He suggests that public opinion is shifting fast, with more people openly debating Israel's actions in Gaza and questioning political support networks and influence. On social media, he points to growing scrutiny of lawmakers and foreign policy ties, framing it as evidence of a broader change in how the conflict is being viewed. In his view, the narrative is no longer controlled by institutions alone. It's being reshaped in real time by online public reaction.
Liberal democracies that fought the battles from World War II.
The commentator briefly draws attention to the two hosts on the left side of the screen, asking viewers to notice their reactions during the exchange. He suggests their expressions reflect the tension in the studio as Netanyahu continues responding to the criticism being raised. For him, even the body language in the room becomes part of the wider story unfolding in real time.
To Afghanistan, to Iraq, and so on. The ratio of combatants to non-combatants killed was 6-1, 7-1. In Gaza, because Hamas was forcing people to stay in urban areas at gunpoint, the ratio is about 1.5 to 1. And we lost a lot of soldiers because we didn't carpet bomb.
That is disputed, Prime Minister.
We didn't do...
People have different ratios as well.
I'm telling you, you don't actually, but that's not the point. It certainly wasn't 6-1 or 7-1, and we certainly didn't carpet bomb, which we could have done right away. We've lost a lot of people by my refusal and the IDF's own mores in making sure that doesn't happen. Now, if you have the densest urban warfare theater in history, with 500 kilometers of terror tunnels underneath, 50 meters below, 50 meters above, everything booby-trapped, and you don't come in and just bomb the place to smithereens, which we didn't. I mean, we had everything booby-trapped. We moved the population out, and then you have to fight the Hamas in there. The ratios in Mosul, the ratios in Fallujah, the ratios elsewhere, there's nothing comparison, and that was nothing compared to what our brave soldiers had to face in Gaza. So I dispute the fact. The argument that you put forward is being put forward. It doesn't make it true. What is true is that Israel is fighting these worst killers, these people who took not only beheaded our men, raped our women, and then murdered them, burned our babies alive, and took 255 hostages, which we took out. Nobody believed that we got them out. These are barbarians. and they're given a free look. I have demonstrations on behalf of Hamas. Notice that they're burning the flag of Israel.
The commentator says Netanyahu is trying to reshape the narrative during the interview in real time. He suggests the goal is not just to respond to criticism, but to influence how audiences in the UK and US view Israel. For him, it's a clear example of a live battle over perception unfolding on screen.
And the flag of the UK, the flag of Israel and the flag of America. When you have pro-Israel demonstrations, they wave Israeli flags, they wave American flags, they wave British flags. These people are against you, whether you recognize it or not. They will sweep away your societies, your freedoms, your ideas, the values that we cherish, exactly
Prime
as you
Minister,
do.
it really isn't just extreme radicals. There are
I didn't say that,
huge numbers of people who are concerned about Israel's behavior, frankly, including people like me.
Well, you
Friends
know,
of Israel who
I
are
think that if
concerned-
Britain was invaded, forgive me, you know, if Britain was invaded and you had the equivalent, in Britain, your population is what, 65 million, something like that, 60 million, right? So you're about 6 times our size. So if you had, on one day, about 8,000 Brits murdered, mutilated, raped, and kidnapped, and they came right next to London, what would you do? We know what you did. We know exactly what Britain did, and I don't hold Churchill or the British government or the British people who supported him responsible for saying you shouldn't act that way. You bombed the living daylights out of German cities and out of French cities that were in your way and so on. We didn't do.
This interview has clearly struck a nerve. The commentator reacts strongly to Netanyahu's responses, arguing that the exchange reflects a wider global backlash and frustration over Israel's actions and its public messaging. In his view, this isn't just about one interview anymore. It's about a much bigger narrative battle playing out on the world stage. He goes on to claim that Netanyahu is facing serious international accusations, including references to legal proceedings and war-related allegations connected to the conflict in Gaza. These are highly contested and politically sensitive claims, and they remain part of ongoing global debate and investigation rather than settled consensus. The commentary also highlights concerns often raised in international discussions, including restricted media access in conflict zones, the role of journalists, and the difficulty of verifying information in real time during war. Ultimately, he frames the moment as a turning point in public opinion, suggesting that global sentiment is shifting and that interviews like this are becoming symbolic of a much larger political divide. He ends by calling it an important confrontation that reflects what he believes many people around the world are thinking and invites viewers to share their own views on the exchange.